Welcome to MyMMANews Radio. Presented by MMA Signatures, featuring weekly special guests, ass-kicking interviews, fight results, and much, much more. Here are your hosts, Eric Kowal of MyMMANews.com and AJ Hiller of MMASignaturesUSA.com.
All right, welcome back to another episode of My MMA News Radio. We are live and we are in a new studio. This is the Hiller Production Studio.
Yes.
We're inside the AJ Hiller, Michelle Hiller home. We are no longer over at Genesis Radio. And we didn't leave on bad terms. It's just we feel that we weren't a good fit over there. So we're going on our own. We're going to take the show on the road. We're going to go to gyms. We're going to go to some MMA schools and interview fighters. We're going to do a lot of this at AJ's school in Stroudsburg, and we're going to still try to do this every Monday around 9 p.m. if we can. So with that being said, how was your Thanksgiving? I didn't get to talk to you last week.
I know. You left me high and dry last week. Thanksgiving was absolutely amazing. We actually traveled out to Pittsburgh to see my in-laws, and we had a great time. How about yours?
It was good. The turkey didn't come out the way that I wanted it to, but it is what it is. Next year. There's always next year. Yeah. So we've got a lot going on.
We have so much
This
going
past
on.
weekend, we had the big UFC. There was two UFCs. There was the Ultimate Fighter 26 finale, and then there was UFC 218. One thing that didn't change. We're in the new studio, but one thing that didn't change is we got the Wicked Apple Ale. Is that what it is?
Yeah. We still got this.
So before we get into the fights over the weekend, again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. We're going to have Brad Kohler calling in from Combo Hitter. He's going to be calling with Shannon Ritch, one of the fighters who's going to be fighting on the Gender Wars card in Russia next month. And if you don't know Shannon Ritch, before he calls in, go to Sherdog or Tapology or something, and the guy's got like 200 fights, 150 or so on official record. He probably has about 200 actual fights under his belt. Yeah. But also we have Yulo Chiropractic, 856-269-4567 or dryulo.com. And Pull No Punches, visit pullnopunchesapparel.com. It's getting cold out there, so go and get a hoodie, put it under the tree for somebody.
For me, I need a hoodie.
You need a hoodie.
I do.
Cover up the tattoos.
Yes.
This is a family show.
I know. We also got Forza Sports. Visit ForzaSports.com. Use coupon code MMA News and receive 10% off. Also Juiced, located at 564 Main Street. Healthy wraps, healthy smoothies. Great place to have lunch, dinner. Campbell's Tree Service, 3 generations of tree service, landscaping, excavating. Give Andy a call at 570-595-2190.
Look at that. Johnny Case, UFC lightweight. Johnny Case, he's watching us right now.
All right, Johnny.
And we did an article about him. We want him to wish him well. He split his eye open today. It was
Johnny. Hope you're doing.
Trains
good.
Over at the MMA lab, and he was practicing with somebody in his gym, and he went to block the kick low, and the guy kicked high, and the toe. He said, I think the words he used were the toe raped his eye.
Wow.
It actually went in and split his eye open, and guy that's got unfortunate luck with his eye. He's always got poked the one time in the eye. Then before he went into the UFC, he had an eye injury. So
we wish you the best, Johnny. And I'll tell you what a weekend the MMA lab had, huh?
Yeah.
Man, they did. They had some great fights, which we'll be talking about here shortly.
You want to start with that? You want to talk with about Lauren?
Oh, sure. Longtime friend Lauren Murphy. Congratulations on her huge win. 36 hours before that fight, she didn't even know if she was going to have a fight because her opponent had gotten hurt or gotten sick and wasn't going to be able to make the fight, but they made her an alternate. And she gets this huge opportunity to fight Barb Honchak. And
it's kind of crazy because if you remember on the show, on Tough 26, if you were watching it, there was a time when Sijara Eubanks had to weigh in, and she got mad because Lauren was trying to cut weight at the same time to fill in because she had a feeling that Sijara wasn't going to make weight.
Right.
Ended up, they had their little beef there on the show. Cejudo ended up making the weight, fought. Lauren's out of the competition completely now.
Right.
No chance for her to get back in. And now all of a sudden, same thing happens, but actually in the finale.
Right.
So
amazing.
Yeah.
But what a great fight! I'll tell you what. Lauren is probably one of the best people in the world. We've sponsored Lauren in the past, and we continue to support her, and she is one of the biggest advocates of my company. I love the girl. I think she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she does. I sent her a message after she won. She said, thanks, it all worked out. But she does a lot of the. Sometimes when I call into the SFLC podcast, I do like the fight predictions.
Right.
It's called Beat the Fight Guys, and we go up against her, and she's hilarious because she has the mouth of a sailor.
Yeah, she does.
She curses more than you and I.
Yeah, and she lives up in was born and raised in Alaska, so there's a lot of water around him. So basically, she is a sailor, right?
Yeah, I guess. But who else was on that card? The Nico Montano defeated Roxy Modafferi in the finale.
Yeah.
And Roxanne wasn't supposed to fight.
Right.
She filled in for Cejudo.
Yeah.
And
but you know what's amazing? I mean, we now have a champion at 125 that very few people even know who she is.
Well, I mean that happens though. It kind of happened with Joanna at first.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, Claudia won, or not. Carla won the Tough 20 finale,
right.
Got the belt, and then in her first title defense, fought Joanna, who the only fight that Joanna had in the UFC at that time was against Claudia,
which was a controversial split decision.
Yeah, so there was,
But Carla, at least people knew who Carla was because Carla was an Invicta champion.
No, I'm saying with Joanna.
Oh, with
Joanna. So Joanna
yeah.
only the most of the fan base didn't really know who she was yet because she only had the one fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
But then she had she won the belt and she had the opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
And she made like this legacy for herself.
She did.
We don't know. Nico might have that same opportunity.
Yeah.
Who else?
Hi to everybody who's watching. We got quite a few people watching. Thanks to everybody, and sorry about this phone. We don't have our tripods and tripads.
Well,
and
speak for yourself. So we've got two feeds.
Yeah,
we've got the MyMMANews feed, and then we've got the AJ Hiller handheld iPhone feed. There.
We like this handheld iPhone.
So there we go. So the sponsor ads are on our feed when AJ's got his own there.
Yeah,
but
we'll figure this out.
What else happened? We had Deanna Bennett. That was ruled a majority draw against Melinda Fabian.
And she lost that point. If it wasn't for that point being deducted, she would have won that fight.
Sean O'Malley defeated Tyrion Ware, a unanimous decision. Who else? Gerald Mearshart defeated Eric Spicely. Brett Johns defeated Joe Soto via submission. Did you see that submission? The calf slicer? Holy!
Yeah, that's crazy.
He pulled it off so fast, too.
Yeah.
That could be a submission of the year.
It could. It could. You don't see many of them.
No. Montana De La Rosa defeated Christina Marks via armbar. That whole preliminary card on FS1 was really good. Right. Ryan James defeated Andrew Sanchez. Sanchez had James rocked, almost out. The referee kind of pulled like one of them Rocky IV was like, if he dies, he dies. He didn't stop the fight.
Right.
And then James comes back and gets a TKO in the third round. Rachel Ostovich defeated Karine, I'm going to mess her name up, Gevorgian. Another armbar. Then Shannon Dobson defeated Ariel Beck, TKO. And then in the first fight on UFC Fight Pass, Jillian Robertson defeated Emily Whitmire via armbar. So there's a couple armbars on the card.
We're trying to get this, people. I'm sorry. All right.
That's going to fall.
It's going to fall, but at least you can see right now. All right? And I'll try to back up a little bit.
So I've got my Maverick MMA shirt on.
Yeah.
Supporting Maverick. I'm going to be at their fight card this weekend.
So
it's going to be Easton, Pennsylvania. But unfortunate news, just a couple hours before the fight, or before we started here. I was trying to reach out to Phil Hawes, who was in the co-main event. He tried out on The Ultimate Fighter. He tried out on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. And he was supposed to fight Eric Roncaroni, but the fight is no longer going to happen. And I think we've got a call coming in. I believe that is Mr. Brad Kohler.
Hello, how you doing, guys?
Thank you for calling My MMA News Radio. Who do we have on the call?
This is Brad Kohler.
Brad Kohler, how are you today?
And Shannon Ritch.
Oh, Shannon, how you doing?
Shannon Ritch here.
So, guys, if hopefully those of you watching Facebook Live, and sorry we're so close, and now you can see how ugly we are. But anyway, hopefully you could hear Brad Kohler and Shannon Ritch on the phone right now. Brad Kohler, of course, is one of our sponsors for the Combo Hitter. Shannon Ritch is a professional MMA fighter, and we're going to find out a little bit about Shannon, and Brad's going to talk a little bit about gender wars. So, guys, thanks again for calling in. How's everything going?
Things are going fantastic. Better than I thought, actually. It's the show's been getting world press, and we've been bombarded with not only athletes but media. So it's been pretty cool.
Nice.
As you know, January 12th, we have two fights that you've heard about. That's going to be happening, and we're announcing a third tonight. Of course, the gender wars, man versus woman. Tess Burrell's taking on our contestant winner, Trent. And I can't give out his last name because we don't want the guy to get beat up before the show.
Right. So basically,
probably,
Brad just announced, if you can't hear at home, we found our male contestant. His name is Trent. Trent will be fighting.
Is he the lead
Tess.
singer for Nine Inch Nails?
He absolutely is.
Trent Reznor?
Yes.
Is that who it's going to be?
Yeah. Did you? Cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag.
So we've got that fight announced, but now we've got tonight on our new show this week. We've got Shannon Ritch calling in with you, Brad. Now, for those who don't know Shannon, as I said in the start of the show, just go to any MMA site that has records and type in Shannon Ritch. This guy has 18 times the fights of almost any UFC fighter.
Right.
18 times, at least.
Yeah.
Shannon, I got to ask you, do you even know how many fights you actually have? Because I know none of the sites have the record absolutely correct.
Yeah, I got 226 fights.
226 fights.
226. See,
Well, who's counting?
yeah, so if you go to SureDog, I think it says like 86, 36, and 5 or something like that. So that's not even close.
Well, obviously, SureDog is wrong. They didn't come out until 1998. That's when the internet pretty much went worldwide. I was fighting NHB, no holds barred, since 1991, pre the UFC. I was fighting in Mexico, all in South America, doing no holds barred. You call it no rules, no rounds, no rivals, no weight classes, full no holds barred. Guys, they'd have the chicken fight, then they'd have the dog fight, then the people. That's what I've been doing since 1991.
So that's
26 years in the making.
So how old are you, Shannon?
I'm a young 47 years old.
Wow, 47 years old, still fighting professionally. What's your goal?
I was 35, man. I was 35.
How many more years do you plan on fighting?
I'm going to keep fighting until promoters quit giving me money to fight.
Right. Well, as long as Brad and I are still around, you might be fighting until you're 70 years old.
And I do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
As long as this body can hold up,
That's right.
But I'm really interested in this gender wars. The rumors were out. I heard about it. Can you guys give me a little more info on it and what's going on with that?
he doesn't even know. So I'm gonna let Brad and AJ take care of that because I don't have anything to do with that.
I know that we booked you for the show, and I know you really weren't aware of the whole man versus woman, but that's our main event. We have Tess Burrell, who is our contestant woman for the females, who came out as she's a bare knuckle brawler. She is tough. She's a fitness instructor. She is pretty fit. She's actually kind of wild in a crazy way that I guess that's a mildly way to put it. And we're gonna have her fight average Joe off the street. So that's what
undercard is Travis View versus Wes Sims. And, of course, you know those guys, and know you're friends with Big Daddy Goodrich, who's going to be cornering Wes Sims, and Mark the Hammer Coleman, which will be Big Daddy Goodrich will be cornering Travis View. Okay? And Mark Coleman will be cornering Wes Sims. Okay?
Hammer House?
What's that?
Hammer House.
Hammer House.
Hammer House, right. Yeah.
Hammer House.
So Brad, who is? It doesn't sound like Shannon knows who he's fighting. So who is Shannon fighting?
Well, Shannon, we were looking for some opponents, this, that, and the other, and it's a lot of people already booked, or they have shows booked, or didn't have a valid passport, so I wanted to throw something out at Shannon on the show tonight, and see if he's game for this, because Shannon's the guy that goes out there and he wears the American flag. His shorts are red, white, and blue, and this, that, and the other. So I want to ask him live, put him on the spot here, and see if he would fight, or give somebody a chance to, the average guy in the street that's never fought MMA before, they always wanted to fight live pay-per-view, a legend of the sport, just like they used to do. You have, in the old UFC days, guys come out there and no one knew who the hell they were, and they had a minor amateur record or no record at all. They went out and they fought in the UFCs. We're going to be, and Shannon's particular bout is going to be no rounds and no time limit, and against the average Joe. So if Shannon's up for that,
well, what do you think, man? Do you think that's even fair? I mean, I'm a world champion. I've fought literally in every continent in the world.
So that should be pretty easy then for you.
I got 200 fights, and you want me to fight to some guy off the street?
Well, being the patriot that you are, I thought maybe you'd go for it.
You just want me to fight an average guy, the regular guy?
Well, we don't have to. Just an idea. I thought I'd throw it at you.
Well, hold on. Let me think about this. So, I'll make it interesting on you. I'll make it even interesting for you. I'll tell you what. I'll donate my purse to him if you can beat me. One. And number two, and this is December, and I am in the Christmas giving mood. So I'll grant you that. I'll fight whoever you put in front of me, because that's who I am. I'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Nice.
So Shannon Ritch is going to fight some average Joe off the street in Russia. I'm hoping it's going to be Ivan Drago.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
Well, he's not the average guy. That's a big
Well, I mean, the last time he fought was Rocky IV, and that was in 1988 or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, then they're the same age. We're good.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's pretty cool, man. What a great opportunity, and Shannon, we're glad to have you part of Gender Wars.
Literally, I feel like Apollo Creed giving out the
See, that's what I was going. I'm glad you picked up on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. Red, white, and blue. I'm the new Apollo Creed.
Nice.
Some local guy a chance to fight a champion in a big show. Yeah, I get it.
Perfect.
I'm down with that.
So we got another fight announced. Brad, for those listening, watching at home, how can they order the fight next month?
Well, InPlayer is we'll be actually advertising it really soon here on Gender Wars MMA. You'll see the poster, and then it'll be live at AJ. Was it 9 o'clock Eastern time here in America?
Yeah, that's
it. And it'll be live at 9 o'clock on InPlayer, and you'll see our posters being advertised all around social media. So you'll see the link. Very simple to get to. They're one of the largest pay-per-view companies.
Yeah.
Streaming. Yeah. So, AJ,
just one quick question.
Yeah.
So are you guys doing a contest? You're going to put this out so people can start sending in videos, or how are they going to qualify to fight?
So that's what we'll
we're
do.
We're going to put it out there right now.
Yeah.
We're going to put it out there right now. We're not going to really run a contest.
If you're watching,
If you're
watching, we're talking to our audience now, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on MyMMANews, if you're up for a fight Shannon Ritch in Russia, January 12th. No rounds, no time limits. And how much is this for, Brad? How much is the purse?
Well, we're doing they'll get Shannon's purse, which is going to be
right. So
close to 50 grand,
so,
and then the
sign me up. I'm
Okay.
up.
So just to recap for those watching, 50 grand.
Ken Shamrock's texting me. Hold on.
Ken Shamrock's texting.
Ken, hold on. Let me just wait. Ken, we are not doing transgender wars yet.
Oh, jeez.
That's for the second one. That's for the second one. So basically, if you're watching, a challenge is up to fight Shannon Ritch. Probably more fights than anyone in the world.
What does it matter the weight class? I mean,
what is the weight class?
Well, Shannon's a heavyweight, right?
Shannon, you fought.
I'm at 215, man. That's what I weigh. So I'll fight that anyway. It doesn't matter to me.
So as we just said a couple minutes ago, our good friend Eric Roncaroni was going to fight 185 pounds. No longer has a fight.
Oh shit! Maybe we could get Shannon to fly out here for the.
And then he doesn't have a fight. $50,000, he can go there. He's a professional fighter.
What if we get Shannon to fight this weekend for Maverick? Shannon, are you available this weekend?
He would do it too.
I know he
It's
would.
$1,000 a show, and if they beat Shannon, Shannon's going to hand over his cash live on pay-per-view January 12th.
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about, guys?
Yep. So it's $1,000. You could win. If you beat Shannon Ritch, Shannon is going to give you his purse of $50,000.
Yeah.
$50,000. So potentially you can make $51,000 on this. So how about this? If we pull up the payroll for this past UFC weekend, I bet you there's only a handful of people who made more than $50,000.
There were. Ngannou,
Wow.
Francis Ngannou, who fought Overeem, didn't even make that.
Wow.
Oh.
That's pretty amazing. Well, at the end of the day, Shannon, we're honored to have you on the card. Another big reason is Shannon has a huge Russian following. He fights over in Russia quite often, and we just thought it was a great addition, to the start of this awesome promotion.
Guys, anytime I can wear
Wayland
red,
Clark.
white, and blue and represent the United States, I'm the man. I am a veteran, former military, spent some time in Iraq protecting the United States ambassador in Iraq. Guys, anytime I can wear the red, white, and blue, I'm down for it.
Well, thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Awesome.
My partner in crime here.
Make sure the fans are looking for the Gender Wars poster on the Gender Wars Facebook page, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll do my part. I'll blow it up. I'm going to tell everybody.
All right. Well, we appreciate you gentlemen calling in, and best of luck to whoever accepts this challenge. You can win $51,000. You only have to fight the toughest man on earth.
Yeah, I know. So if you're just joining in, if you haven't been listening the whole time, we have Brad Kohler and Shannon Ritch on the line right now. Just announced Shannon will be fighting on the Gender Wars card, looking for an opponent. It could be basically any weight. There's going to be no rounds and no time limits. So basically, it's going to be like the good old days in the UFC.
Hey, let's not forget no ropes, no cage.
Yeah, no ropes, no cage.
And you're fighting Shannon Ritch,
And you're fighting Shannon Ritch,
who has 226.
226 professional fights. That's documented, right?
8 times.
Yeah. Yeah, 8-time world champion. So huge opportunity for somebody. So if you're interested in this, go to the Gender Wars Facebook page. Send Brad and myself your information, and you could have the opportunity to be fighting for $51,000. $51,000. So that's $1,000 purse, and then also Shannon is willing to give up his purse, plus of course all expenses, and make sure that you have your passport. That's huge, passport, right?
And how is your guys' Russian right now?
Yeah.
Mine sucks. I took German in 8th grade.
Vodka. How's that? Good?
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it, and best of luck, and Merry Christmas.
Yes, guys. Thanks for calling in.
Guys, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I'm looking forward for the contract, guys. Send the contract out. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Got it, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So pretty big news.
Wow,
Pretty
I was
big
not
news.
expecting that. So I had no idea about that.
Mhm.
You tell me he's fighting maybe a wrestler or somebody. You kept it a surprise.
Yeah.
So
Because
Brad,
he really didn't know. We don't know.
Brad pulled it out, the rug out from underneath us, and
Yep.
and surprised us with that one.
Yep. So pretty exciting, huh?
So this whole card is just coming together, full of surprises, and
Yep. It's gonna be fun. So this is January 12th, Gender Wars.
is Vladimir Putin going to be there?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
You think so?
Possi-
He's a trained judoka.
Oh.
Is that what you call them? I believe so.
Judokan?
Somebody, yeah, something like
Judas?
Judas. No, that's
Oh,
something
no.
else. Judas Priest. But no, he actually trains the president there in
Wow.
Russia. So
Well, that'd be
maybe
pretty.
get him in there.
Maybe he'll take the opportunity,
Yeah.
to fight Shannon Ritch.
That'd be pretty good. That would
Yeah,
make world
but
headlines.
it's exciting. It's exciting. So already, if you think about it, just on this one fight card, just think of the legends that are going to be there. Of course, Brad Kohler, Shannon Ritch. We got Big Daddy Gary Goodridge. We got Mark Coleman, Travis View, and Wes Sims. And that's only 3 fights. That's not including our main event, which is Tess Barrel versus Trent.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Trent.
Not Trent Reznor.
No, I don't even know his name. He's that punk. Remember, he had the glasses on. Yo, Ronda Rousey. Did you see that one?
No.
Oh yeah, you gotta check out his video because he's like, I'll take out Ronda Rousey. He couldn't even say her name, Rousey or something like that. I'll take out Ronda Rousey and put her on the stripper pole that she should be on or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Oh yeah. So, he's a.
Sounds like a stand-up guy.
Oh yeah. So that should be fun. And now we have the undercard, of course, Travis and Wes, and now the huge opportunity of Shannon Ritch versus question mark. And who knows? Maybe next week there'll be a 4th fight announced. Who knows? We don't even know. So let's get back to the UFC card.
Yeah,
because-
so we'll talk about UFC 218, and we're just going to kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Main event.
Too Smooth. Hey, real quick, congratulations, Too Smooth. Too Smooth, Lamont Capers, he fights out of our gym here, MMA Signature. Oh, Juduco. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Maggie. Anyway, Too Smooth, Lamont Capers went this weekend as a huge underdog. Now Lamont is ranked like 24 in the country, and he goes down to fight boxing.
Yeah.
Fight this stud down in Maryland at the MGM, and pulls out a huge upset. Beats the guy, and Lamont's just gonna come up higher in the rankings. So congratulations and thanks for watching Too Smooth.
So main event, Max Holloway defeated Jose Aldo for a second time.
Yes.
3rd round TKO. They were talking about Jose being the best featherweight of all time. Now Max has beaten him twice.
2 times, and there's no excuse this time. Last time they said Aldo was hurt.
Yeah.
Came and put on a show and got beat. Now he comes 100% and gets beat again.
So where do you think this puts Jose Aldo though? Like what would you do? I mean, his management's talking about he's gonna continue, but what would you do if you're somebody around him? Somebody fighter, trained with him, friends, coaches, or you're him. Like what do you do now? I mean, you've fought, you lost the belt to Conor. You come back, you beat Frankie.
Yeah.
And then
You lose twice.
And then you lose twice.
So he's in his last 4 fights he's 1-4.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wasn't Jose Aldo, he'd be cut.
But he doesn't. He also doesn't have the best relationship with the UFC.
Right.
So
right. I don't know how many fights are left in his contract. Will he have a bigger opportunity in maybe Bellator, or would he have a better opportunity in Fight Tonight, which is a Brazilian promotion? Because at the end of the day, he's not a pay-per-view seller.
yeah.
What does the UFC do with him next? I mean, do you think there's a possibility you go from a title shot to
Well, that's the thing. Does he move?
Pink slip?
He also has trouble making weight. I think he had trouble with this weight cut. So does he go to 155? But then he's probably going to be a smaller 155 because the guy's fighting at 155.
I got a great
cut
idea.
from 170.
Maybe he could fight Shannon Ritch.
Well, that's not. But you're looking for an average guy for that.
Oh, that's right.
But also too, he's still under contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, what does he do? I think he just kind of has to take some time off. You never really want to make those decisions the week after.
Right.
It's kind of like what Joe Rogan talks about. Like, I hate asking the fighters after a knockout what they want to do or what happened because their brain's not right. This guy just got TKO'd.
Right.
So he's got to sit back and kind of think about it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with him. I mean, do you? I mean, he's still an amazing fighter. He still has, several years left.
I could see him like fighting out his contract. I don't know. I'd have to look at his contract, see how many fights are left.
Right.
But Bellator swooping him up.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And the UFC never really promoted Aldo the right way,
Right.
at least in his eyes.
Yeah.
So with the Viacom money, I think Bellator will do that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um,
I'm sure. Speaking of knockouts, how about Alistair Overeem?
he got turned into a Pez dispenser.
That's why I was just going to say the same thing. That was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Francis Ngannou is... I don't know who could beat this man.
Well, I mean, the next shot has got to be Stipe.
Yeah.
The thing with that is, Stipe is not a huge heavyweight.
He's not.
He's not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been beating bigger guys.
Right.
But this guy might be the biggest guy that he's fought.
He's huge. He's just...
Ngannou is huge, and I don't know. I mean, I like Stipe.
Yeah. Oh, I love.
But
Stipe.
he's been like fighting like once a year.
Yeah.
And against this guy that's massive. It's got huge power.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go too well for Stipe.
That's scary because I don't see this guy's got power in both of his hands. I mean, he hit Alistair with that left uppercut, and I haven't seen such a good knockout since Henderson knocked out Bisping. You know that?
Oh, there's been good knockouts.
Yeah. I mean, he was out.
This was a good heavyweight knockout. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see many uppercut knockouts like
Right.
that, especially a minute into the fight or whatever it was. But
thanks for watching, guys.
yes,
Rocky.
so that's got to be the next fight for him. He's got to be fighting for the title. Let's see who else. Henry Cejudo, no surprise here, defeated Sergio Pettis, unanimous decision. I saw that coming a mile away. I don't think anybody's gonna really beat Cejudo except for Demetrius Johnson.
Right. And I'll tell you what, he did a great job making weight. He's had some problems in the past making weight, and I think he's got it under control now.
How about the Eddie Alvarez Justin Gaethje fight?
Good Lord.
Fight of the year?
Has to be. And think about this. That was Justin Gaethje's first ever loss in MMA. He was an undefeated amateur, undefeated pro. This guy has more heart than probably anybody I've ever seen fight. He does not quit. He didn't know how to lose. That was his problem. If they didn't stop that, he would have probably gotten back up and kept on going. Yeah. And did you see Eddie's face?
I did. Yeah.
I was thinking watching this fight. Do you remember when he broke his nose and he blew his nose?
Yeah.
A couple fights ago, and his
Yeah.
face blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that fight was absolutely amazing. Love to see a rematch of that. And
I don't know if they'll do a rematch with that one.
But I'll tell you, I had Gaethje. I
did
thought
too.
Gaethje was going to win the
I
fight.
did too. And it's nothing against Eddie Alvarez. Great camp. Trains down there, with Nick Catone and Frankie and all those guys. I just thought, like, after the Conor knockout, I just didn't think he was going to pick it back up.
Yeah, but he came back. Remember that fight with Poirier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that one we never got to see the full fight.
Yeah.
And then with this, I just thought, like, with that, the time off filming the show, I just thought, like, he was going to start going on a slide. Not that I wanted to see that happen. I figured that was what was going to happen.
That could have been one of the best Eddie Alvarez's
I've
ever seen.
Yeah. And I remember I went to an Eddie Alvarez fight. He headlined Bodog. Do you remember Bodog?
Yeah, I love Bodog.
So this fight was in Trenton. This was, I'm going to say, 2005.
Right.
I don't know exactly year, but I'm going to say 2005. Eddie Alvarez was headlining the card against a guy, I'm trying to think, his last name was Lee.
Bruce Lee?
No, not Bruce Lee.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, the main event, and it's here on the East Coast.
Right.
The fight didn't happen until like 2 in the morning.
Oh my God.
The place was emptying out, and I was like, oh man.
Was this the main event?
It was.
Oh wow.
But yeah, the card was so long, and I mean, there was probably like 20 fights on it. Chael Sonnen was on it.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of good. It was like before people were very well known.
Right.
But Eddie
That's
Alvarez
awesome.
headlined it. Yeah, and that was my first Eddie Alvarez experience. And
How many wars do you think this man could actually do? Think about his wars with Chandler.
yeah, and I wish Chandler was in the UFC. I would love to see them fight again.
Yeah.
Those fights were great.
And I'll tell you what, even though I thought Gaethje was going to win that fight, Eddie is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's always great to see, local. We'll call him local. He's a Pennsylvanian, local guy. Come up with such a big win.
Tisha Torres defeats Michelle Waterson, unanimous decision.
Yeah. Even though she was a pretty big favorite, I really thought that Waterson was going to pull that one off. Michelle has had some huge wins in her past couple fights, and I was surprised that she was an underdog, and I was surprised at how easily Tisha controlled that fight.
I wasn't too surprised with that. I was kind of the opposite. I went into the fight thinking Tisha was going to win.
Right.
I just think she's got like this determination about her, and I think she's going to be fighting for the title here shortly.
Yeah. It's very possible.
I don't know what Michelle Waterson does next though.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean,
because she gets like so close,
yeah.
and then kind of you lose one, and then you got to keep climb back up again.
I mean, she's still. I think about there's a lot of good fights out there.
There's a lot of good fights, but how many times can you get to like that? It's kind of like a pecking order,
right?
I
tell you what, I would love to see, possibly Jessica Andrade versus Tisha. I think that'd be a good fight, or maybe even Felice Herrig. And I'll tell you what, she's had another great fight. I mean, that was awesome. That fight
with Courtney.
Yeah, I thought that fight was great.
Really?
Oh yeah, just how they started off like Cowboy and Diaz.
You
know what I mean? You don't see that.
There wasn't
from
a
the women.
whole bunch of action in that fight. I think the thing that people talked about the most was the middle fingers.
I loved it. And think about it. I just thought it was a great fight. Maybe because
you're the
I'm
minority on that one.
Yeah.
But it was nothing, and it's nothing against either fighter. I just didn't think it was. I thought it would be a more entertaining fight. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what I was hoping it was. But Paul Felder defeats Charles Oliveira TKO, second round on the main event in the.
How did
prelims.
they miss that tap? Remember how he tapped?
Yeah.
How did they miss that? Paul said, "Yeah, I felt the tap." I mean, he's so well spoken. He's such a good guy. Another Pennsylvanian. So it was good to see him win, and that was a clear tap right in front of the referee. They didn't see it, so Paul kept on going. What he's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
So, Yancy Medeiros defeats Alex Oliveira, third round TKO, and David Tamer defeated Jakar Close, unanimous decision. We already talked about the Felice Herrig Courtney Casey fight. How about this one? Amanda Bobby Cooper defeats everybody's favorite. What's your Majesty, Angela Magana.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of ABC. Mm-hmm. I've done signings with her and stuff like that in the past. Great girl. And I was glad to see her win.
So here's the thing I wanted to talk about. Magana goes on social media and she starts saying that because she's a female, because she's a woman, that the referee didn't let her continue to fight.
What?
She's saying that there's a bias between the men and women fighters, that a referee will allow a male fighter to get his face bashed in a little bit longer than a female. Do you think that's the case? Or did you think...
I tell you what, I think it's some of these bloodbaths that we've seen with female fighters. I mean,
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have seen referees let fights go too long,
Yeah.
and I have seen referees stop fights too early.
Yeah.
And so there's never really. It's always you've got one person doing the job,
Right.
And it's always that if I do, I'm damned. If I don't, I'm damned.
Right.
You can never really win. I mean, it's a very tough job.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're on the losing end of it, you're not going to be happy.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's one of the reasons Joe Rogan doesn't interview the losers after the fight anymore. You know, because it takes a couple days to sink in. You know.
Yeah.
So she may have talked a little prematurely, but I think that's the first time that I've ever heard that.
Well, it just happens. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's never been another female to complain about that before, right?
I'm sure there have been. I mean, but we've seen the fights. You complain, a fight stops too early. I think there was a couple fights on here that they were talking about maybe stopped too soon, and so you never know. But being a referee is not easy. That's why it's not for everybody. But and it does take time. It does take experience to learn how to do it. Like I said, I've seen fights where the referee has let the fight go on way too long. I've actually been like commentating at a fight.
Right.
I remember this. I had the headset on and I almost the ref was on the guy's getting choked out and the ref is on the opposite side.
Right.
Right. He should have been on this side, seeing if the guy can pass out. The guy was passed out.
Right.
I mean, he's completely like lifeless.
Right.
I had to get up and scream, "He's out! He's out!" While I'm commentating. So
That's great.
I never listened to the tape, but it probably sounded worse than what I sound right now. Yeah. But
which fight was it in WEC?
WEC.
WEC, yeah. Joe Riggs was fighting a guy, and the owner of WEC, who's now with the UFC,
Harris.
Yes.
I can't think of his right.
Harris, yeah.
I can't think of his first name.
He's yelling for the ref to stop. Joe is beating the hell out of the guy, right? Oh, we could say shit. Yeah, we're not there, so Joe's beating the shit out of the guy, right? And Harris is telling the ref, stop. Reed Harris.
Yep.
Stop the fight, right? The ref didn't stop the fight. The guy turns around and submits Joe. But, yeah, I mean, but clearly, it was right in front of Reed Harris. Yeah. I mean, you were across the ring, right, when the guy was out, or were you?
Oh, yeah, I was cage side commentating.
Yeah, but it's amazing how a referee that close doesn't see, a guy either being knocked out or a guy passed out, unconscious, but somebody else across the ring does, or across the cage. But pretty funny, pretty fun. Hope everybody likes my classic holiday T-shirt. This is what I'm going to be wearing this holiday season.
What does it say? Some people can't see it.
It says classic holiday T-shirt.
Classic? Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can pick
you
this
weren't
up
kidding.
at Reebok. Speaking of Reebok, if you're local, this Saturday from 9 until 11 a.m., MMA Signatures is going to be up there doing a boxing clinic. This is just all new news here. So boxing clinic up at the Reebok outlet from 9 until 11. If you do come, you will get 50% off their already low prices. So come between 9 and 11 to the Reebok outlet, and it's perfect place to Christmas shop.
Yeah. So last thing before we go, we're gonna have a couple of my guys. We're gonna be out at Art of War this weekend, 2300 Arena, Philadelphia. They're gonna be covering that fight card. I'm gonna be at Maverick on Saturday in Easton at the State Theater. There's a UFC as well this weekend. Cub Swanson versus Brian Ortega. What else we got going on? CFFC next week in Atlantic City, I believe.
Right.
Back at Borgata.
Nice.
All sorts of fight cards leading up to the holidays.
Good luck to all the fighters this weekend for Maverick, especially MMA Signature sponsored fighters, Justin Costco, who fights out of our gym, Scott Heckman, and Jesse Burke. Good luck, guys. Anything else, buddy?
That's it. So we'll figure out what we're going to do for next week.
Next week, we will be in a studio. We're going to have our own studio. You could look right here. See?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be in a studio. We have our own studio being built. And we're looking forward to getting this bigger and better. And, guys, thanks for watching. And Big D, peace out. Nick, where the hell were you this week? Nick, you're supposed to be with us. So next week...
Nick Massington. Huh?
Yeah, Nick Massington. So next week, Nick, I don't want to hear no crap. You're going to be with us. Rocky Sales, but I see you on bench pressing. You're doing great, buddy.
See, nobody knows what I was talking about on my
so
feed.
the people who are watching, these are the people on the Facebook Live. But if I missed you guys, thank you for watching. Eric, until next time.
Yeah, until next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.